Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Are you doubtful that the Ukrainian forces, and only the Ukrainian forces, are participating in the attack on Russia in Kursk? Okay. Do you think that there are some foreign volunteers over there too? Okay. Do you think there are NATO troops under the disguise of being volunteer troops? Okay. Well, do you trust Scott Ritter? Okay, good answer. You never trust anybody unless that person builds trust. And how do you build trust? By verifying the statements and actions. So we have here an article out of 4 that I will cover in this video, where Scott Ritter claims that there are about, I'm not going to tell you the number yet, but thousands of foreign NATO fighters in Kursk at this moment, and the operation obviously is not conducted by the Ukrainians but by others. You have the right, obviously, to be skeptical, and I urge you to be skeptical and verify. Here is the first article. The first article has to do with the NATO fighters. The second one is with the Americans doing the same thing they did on many occasions, lying. I'm talking about the government and the mountain slope model. And then the Canadians, 40 million people, they are just the tip of the spear in Ukraine. They will allow the Ukrainians use their weapons, whatever weapons they have, to be used in invading Ukraine by NATO, by the Ukrainians. And then we have another article here where the Russians obviously are not baboons, and they say, you know what, go and play your garbage at a different table. Nord Stream wouldn't have been attacked without the Americans' approval. So yeah, if it was attacked by some others, which could have been attacked, by other people's hand, like in Ukraine. I fight you with my neighbor. He's going to fight you, and I'm going to just give him weapons. But I'm fighting you, actually. But you can't hit me directly. No. I'm not involved. Right? So if these guys blow your Nord Stream 1, Nord Stream 2 pipelines, it's not me who organized, put at their disposal all the equipment. No, it's not me. I didn't do it. It's these guys. All right, these guys. So don't come after Adolf. No. Go towards the German military and officers over there. Okay, not towards Adolf and everybody else over there. No. Because that's the way, All right. So it's another article, and the last one is I will tell you how the Americans are keeping us safe. Americans, the government, using FBI and others to search people's houses. Remember Scott Ritter? Yeah, Scott Ritter was. Had a little FBI raid a few days ago, remember? And they checked and took all kind of things from his house because they suspect him that he's telling the truth. I mean, he's doing something that the government doesn't like. We have another one with a Soviet-born guy who works in the US government. Now his family is harassed by, they keep you safe, the FBI, the ones that you saw in the movies, the good-looking guys that know everything, those guys, not the that you meet every day. I'm talking about some. Right, don't get insulted now, FBI, all right? I know. Yeah, so what? What's going to happen? We all have to die one day, don't we? So, let's see. Here is the article from Sputnik. Russia obliterates NATO fighters, weaponry as Ukraine mounts desperate attack in Kursk. So, Kiev incursion has given Moscow the opportunity to destroy strategic reserves of troops and weapons. So the Russians claim that this is the last final stand of the Ukrainians trying to, the last push. I don't know if that's true or not, but Ukraine was forced to expend some of their most well-trained soldiers and advanced technology in a failed effort to capture the Kursk nuclear power plant, highlighted former U.S. Marine Intelligence Officer Scott Ritter. That's a good point. Such was the former UN Chief Weapons Inspector and analysis on Sputnik's The Critical Hour program Thursday, where Ritter discussed the latest desperate maneuver of the failing Western proxy war. And I'm quoting, a NATO-created, trained, equipped, and directed force of not just Ukrainians, but Polish, French, Americans, and British has invaded Russia, said the American dissident. He's a dissident who forced persecution in Washington after challenging the George W. Bush administration's claims of Iraq weapons of mass destruction during the run-up to the United States' disastrous war on the Middle Eastern country. And I'm quoting, this force could be up to 20,000 strong. Could be, that means you don't know for sure. Ritter noted, it looks like, and I'm quoting, like the Ukrainians are seeking to reinforce it as we speak with thousands of more people drawn from the Zaporozhye front. It's an invasion of Russia, and they should scare the heck out of everybody who just heard that statement. And I'm quoting, this is how you trigger nuclear war. That's exactly what I said. Now, fortunately, the Russians are panicking. The incursion has been contained. Not only that, it's been blunted. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, but this is, I agree with that. This is how you trigger. Because the Russians can always say, you know what, this is an attack on us, we are about to lose our state, we're going to activate the use of nuclear weapons protocol. And that's it, a doctrine. Bye-bye. But still, this is a controlled war. So he says Russia has also neutralized some of the regime's most well-trained troops and high-tech NATO weaponry, such as British Challenger tank, singular, US M1 Abrams tanks, and Bradley infantry fighting vehicles. The ongoing conflict against the Western client state has served, it's about the Western, and it is the interest harnessing us in the West, has served as a showcase for Russian defense technology. They gave it to us, they handled it to us, said Ritter of Kiev's strategic reserves of troops and armaments. The Russians are winning, the Ukrainians are dying, unfortunately, for both of them, and that's nothing Ukraine will have to replace these troops. I agree with that. It says here, these troops, and I'm quoting, have been trained and prepared for well over a year and a half. These are NATO equivalent troops. Many of them are NATO troops. Ship-dipped Polish troops, ship-dipped French troops, American mercenaries recruited as soon as they leave the active duty of the United States of American forces. This is a NATO unit, literally a NATO unit that was sent into Ukraine, and the Russians are destroying it. That's the reality of what's going on in Kursk right now. End quote, Ritter claimed. So I think that's kind of accurate, don't you think? I think it is. Now, this is the game the Americans played, and not only, for 2 years and a half at least. US reluctant to allow Ukraine to use ATACMS inside Kursk region. The United States remains reluctant to allow Ukraine. Why do you even talk about it? Why are the ATACMS in Ukraine? In the first place, you know, as I said many times before, the mountain slope model, which is, you can't tell the baboons, 24th of February 2022, we're going to send troops, we're going to send F-16s, we're going to send Abrams tanks, we're going to send long-range missile systems to Ukraine right now. The baboons will be, hold on. Even the most hungry baboon eating another baboon's fleas will be like, will panic. Therefore, you have to start slow. Hey, dear baboon, you have to take it easy. You don't go full force, even if it's dry. Anyway, so you go slowly. So the same with the baboons. You start, as I said, let's say the first one, there was the howitzers. They were the first ones, howitzers. I'm talking about the juveniles. That's a given that we were going to send that. As a Russian, let's say, I would say, no, you send over there a Playboy magazine to help the Ukrainians, you are involved right there. You send a condom over there, you are involved. I mean, if you send a condom, that will help us because the Ukrainians cannot procreate, so they can be less, and then we can overcome, and we're going to win and destroy everybody, right? So you can send condoms over there. And Bibles too, on the same, anyway. So here you have these guys sending, how the story starts. How they decided to send the howitzers and everything else, the Abrams tanks, the Bradleys, that was decided a long time ago, before 2021, before 2022, before 2023, a long time ago. So I say, well, usually it's a retired general who comes and says, maybe Americans should send howitzers. Retired general. That means he doesn't have an authority to speak. It's just A person like you and I. And then he just like a volleyball. The person who gets the ball in the air, the first guy. And then everybody is like, and that is. The second one is going to be a mass media outlet say, well, maybe we should send howitzers. No, a panel. We'll be like, no. And then there will be somewhere else where I have a really military guys going to say, maybe it could happen. We could, military, in a general, in the military, or colonel, a little bit lower rank. The story is not about if they should. How? And then you have the White House coming and saying, no, as the French Corinne Jean-Pierre, the spokesperson would say, because she's French. And she makes what, $180,000 a year? Like you and I, for being a baboon over there in front of us. But hey, that's the democracy. Why? She was appointed because she's very smart. And she checkmarked some boxes. Remember the victimhood boxes? She's right there at the top. Well, she's not from the tribe, but she's got almost everything. Maybe she is, when we don't know it yet. So then is the White House denying that. And then is the panels who are going to invite experts and analysts who say, yes, they should done, they should send it, the howitzers, yes, they would help the Ukrainians save lives. And who doesn't agree with that? You're a criminal because you support Putin. And then you're going to have another general going to say, yes, they should do this. And then the White House is going to come and say, well, the president is thinking about it, but no, we're not sure. But we're talking, and then eventually say, yeah, he decided. So we are with attack MS missiles inside Russia. We are at the point where they say, well, we're still the White House. The last move, the next one will be White House decided to do it, or the Pentagon, because the Pentagon rules White House, according to some, right? So the United States remains reluctant. That's the way it goes. But hey, we got these guys ahead of the curve, which is the mighty Canadian Army. Canada is owned by the same tribe and people who are from that area. Just look at what's her name, Freeland, whatever her name is, Freeland, where she is from. And then the imbecile Trudeau, leave him. He's just I would say he could qualify. If under your watch, your country commits a crime somewhere and you did not stop it and you kept quiet, but you were in charge of it, so in your country's name a crime occurred, you're responsible, my friend. And that is Trudeau. I think his country commits certain crimes in Ukraine through the Ukrainians, and you are responsible for inciting it, talking about it. And here Canada allows use of weapons provided to Ukraine on territory of Russian Federation. Canada is involved in war of aggression against Russia. That's how I take it. That's how I would take it if I were Russian, categorically. What would I do? I don't know, tell them. Ultimatum, that's the way it is. And what do you think these guys will do? Do you think Trudeau and Freeland would like to die in an atomic, cataclysm? They would not. Why? They work hard together. Like, remember Tony Montana, Scarface? I work hard for this. Who did this? Me! When he was in that little bathtub, remember? When looking at the TV and said, "Oh, look at the pelican fly. And it was the flamingo taking off. Yeah, who did this? Me. I work hard for this. Yeah, the same. Freeland and Trudeau did not work hard. His father worked hard. But anyway, that's the way it happens because we have democracy in Canada. The Canadian Ministry of Defense said that the Ukrainian military could use tanks and armored vehicles provided by Canada in Russia. They are ahead of these guys who are still, the baboons here should be, it takes longer. These guys seems like they're faster. Canada places no geographic restrictions on the use of military equipment that we donated to Ukraine. So that is, I don't care how that guy is going to use it. Be it a criminal or not, we gave him the weapons, he can use them. We are all for that, basically. So if Ukraine commits war crimes with Canadian weapons, what is Canadians going to do, or Canada? You know what they will do? They will ignore it. They'll say, what? They will change the subject. Next one. Russians are not idiots, obviously. Reuters, the European Russians, I'm talking about not the, Russia diplomat says Ukraine wouldn't have attacked Nord Stream without US approval. First, I don't believe squat that Ukraine attacked that. Now, could there have been some guys under the training of CIA and so on? That's, I think, the the main lead, the main scenario. I don't think these guys are scuba divers. Okay, let's go, baby doll. In, planted over there, nailed it to the pipeline, the explosive, and then they got to the surface, and then with a little boat, pop, 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 while the other ones were taking turns on the woman. And okay, skips. It's like those LPs, you know, the old ones, the vinyl ones that you were listening to. And we're like, they get always the same point, like the same. All right, let's move to the last article right here. Russia Today. FBI searches U.S. home of Soviet-born Biden critic. 16th of August, 2024. That is Elvis's date of death. The family of Dimitri Sims is being subjected to government intimidation, his son has claimed. The FBI has executed a search warrant at the home of Russian-born U.S. political pundit and author Dimitri Sims. I have a feeling that this guy is part of something, who has been a vocal critic of the administration of President Joe Biden. Now, this guy is the author's son, described it as a bandit-like intimidation attempt by the U.S. government in a statement released on X. So in an email on Wednesday night, FBI spokesperson Samantha Sherro declined to comment on the raid except to confirm that it has been authorized by a court. As I said, these guys can give you 100 judges or 1,000 judges authorizing anything they want. A former aide to Richard Nixon, Sims is a naturalized U.S. citizen who immigrated to the country in 1973. How do you immigrate? Okay, that's why I have a feeling. He was described by U.S. media as providing a systematic platform for the Russian government in the head of the DC policy establishment after Senator Rand Paul named him as foreign policy advisor in 2014. After Senator Rand Paul named him as a foreign policy advisor in 2014. 999, he published a book, and so on. The problem is, Sims was one of the people investigated by the special counsel Robert Mueller as a suspected contact between Donald Trump and the Russian government. The report finalized in 2019, which failed to find any evidence of collusion between Moscow and Trump's collusion. No problem. That's what happens, my friends, when you challenge the government. And a corrupt government, because another government would be, if you committed a crime or they suspect you, they should go and do it. But that's not the case. Remember, Scott Ritter was also, raided his house. All right, and I did some research and I was right whatsoever. He is one of those guys. You don't immigrate in the Soviet times whenever you want, unless you were part of a group. And that was, if you remember it. So Dimitri Sims, and what I found, nothing about that thing, but this is what I found. He immigrated to the United States in 1973. You don't immigrate unless, if you remember, it was an understanding between the Israeli community, the Jewish community, and the Soviets to allow them to immigrate. Now, what we found out that seeking intellectual, he just immigrated because he was just a dissident. He had twice been expelled from university in Russia for protesting Soviet involvement in Vietnam War. Sims' mother, and that's important, and when I put this and I saw her face, I said, oh, is this Golda Meir? Oh, all right. Was born in Papapap, and his father, Konstantin Sims, was born in Odessa. In 1977, his mother was expelled from the Soviet Union. You don't get expelled from Soviet Union. You don't get expelled. You're kept over there, kept in the dungeons, and then eliminated. That's what happened. For working as a lawyer for Soviet dissidents. So let's go see who's Dina. And there you have Dina. I'll make it bigger so you see. That gave it to me when I saw the face. I said, yeah, that's where you are. And Dina is right there. Dina Isaac. Oh my God, don't do this, baby doll. Yeah, you're such a bitch now. Right. You say Dina Isakovna, Isaac, okay, was a lawyer and a human rights activist in the Soviet Union who was forced to emigrate. I want to be forced. How many people want to be forced to emigrate to the United States to avoid arrest? She and her husband moved to the United States of America. She was born to a Jewish family in Yekaterinoslav. Got that? All right, so now we know that this guy, he got, where is he? He got to work for Mr. Nixon, right? He was selected to lead the Center for by former Papa, the same as now Blinken and others. What's her name? Madeleine Albright, if you want, and you can go on with the list of this. You want to go to Kissinger, as the same. But hey, America the beautiful. Thank you very much for being with me again today. So easy. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.